In the silence, my thoughts have been growing louder, and it's time for me to listen to them, to share them with the world, and finally let go of the weight I've carried. For so long, I've been holding back, afraid of the repercussions of speaking my mind. But now I see that the true consequence would be to never speak at all. The truth is messy and uncomfortable, but it's also freeing. Today, I'm choosing to embrace that mess, to spill my guts and speak my heart without reservation. The emotions I've kept hidden are like a storm waiting to be released. It's time to let the winds of my truth blow freely, no matter how chaotic it might be. There's a strange kind of peace that comes with letting go of everything you've kept inside. It's time to speak my truth and embrace that peace. It's scary to let your heart speak, to be vulnerable in a world that often values strength over honesty. But today, I choose vulnerability, and I choose to speak my truth. Holding on to these emotions for so long has only caused pain. But now, it's time to release them, to let go of the heaviness and speak my truth with courage. I've spent years hiding behind walls of silence, but I've come to realize that true healing begins when you break those walls down and let the world see who you really are. Every feeling I've buried deep inside is a part of me. It's time to stop hiding those parts and finally let the world see the whole, unfiltered truth. It's amazing how much power silence can have over you, but it's even more powerful when you decide to speak, to share what's been locked away inside. For so long, I've been afraid of the consequences of speaking out. But today, I realize that the only consequence of silence is missing the chance to be truly heard. The hardest thing I've ever done is to admit that I have feelings, to acknowledge the emotions I've been afraid to express. But today, I'm choosing to face those emotions head on. Sometimes you have to let go of everything you've been holding on to just to find the peace that's been waiting on the other side of your truth. Each thought, each feeling, it's all a part of who I am. It's time to stop hiding behind a mask and let the world see my true self, raw and unfiltered. The more I hide my truth, the more I lose myself in the process. It's time to stop hiding and start living authentically, speaking my heart and soul with courage. There's power in sharing what's been hidden, in releasing the burden of unspoken words. Today, I choose to embrace that power and let my feelings be heard. I've learned that there's strength in vulnerability, in allowing yourself to feel and express emotions that others might not understand. But it's time for me to share them anyway. For too long, I've let my emotions stay locked away in fire of judgment. But now, I realize that the only judgment that matters is the one I place on myself for staying silent. There's something incredibly freeing about speaking your truth, about sharing what's been buried deep inside. Today, I choose to experience that freedom. I no longer want to live in the shadow of my silence. It's time to step into the light, to share my truth, and let my emotions guide me toward healing. I've spent too much time overthinking, analyzing every word, every feeling, but now I'm choosing to stop overthinking and just speak, to let it all out in the open. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is let yourself feel what you've been afraid to feel. But I've reached the point where I can no longer ignore the emotions that are trying to break free. Letting go of the fear of judgment is the first step toward truly being yourself. Today, I'm ready to take that step and speak my truth with courage. Every feeling, every thought, it's all part of who I am. It's time to stop hiding behind the walls of silence and let the world see me for who I really am. There's something beautifully liberating about letting go of the emotions you've been keeping hidden. I'm ready to let go and embrace that liberation. It's time to stop pretending I'm okay when I'm not. It's time to spill my guts, to speak the truth about my thoughts, my emotions, and everything I've been holding inside. There are moments in life when you realize that silence is no longer an option. It's time to speak up, to share what's been lying dormant inside for far too long. I've kept my emotions hidden for so long, but now I feel it's time to let go of the fear, to finally spill my guts and allow my true feelings to be seen. It's not easy to be vulnerable, but I've learned that it's the only way to be real. Today, I choose to share what's been bottled up inside and finally speak my truth. I've been afraid of how people might react, but the fear of not speaking up has become worse. It's time to let my thoughts and emotions be heard. I've carried these unspoken words for so long, wondering when the right moment would come to release them. But now I realize that it's time to let them pour out, raw, untamed, and vulnerable. There are moments in life when silence becomes a burden. It's as though the weight of unexpressed feelings is too much to carry, and the heart can no longer hold back its truth. I stand at a crossroads, with thoughts swirling in my mind like a storm, knowing deep down that it's time to share the feelings that have haunted me for so long. What's been hidden inside of me has been quietly building, waiting for the perfect moment to burst forth like a dam finally giving way. I can no longer keep it all in. My heart demands to speak its truth. The time has come to let my soul be heard, to speak the words I've long kept buried. Each thought is like a spark. eager to ignite the flame of honesty I've been afraid to set free. For far too long, I've worn a mask pretending that everything is fine. But it's time to take it off, to let the rawness of my emotions be seen, and to speak my mind without fear. I can no longer hold back my thoughts. The truth has been simmering inside of me for so long, and now it needs to be shared with the world, no matter how difficult it may seem. These thoughts, these feelings, they've been locked away in the deepest corners of my mind, but now they demand to be released. The time to share is now, and there's no turning back. It's terrifying to speak your truth, but it's even scarier to live in a world where silence controls you. It's time to let go of the fear and finally let my heart speak its truth. When you've spent so much time hiding your true self, the weight of it all can feel unbearable. But today, I'm choosing to release it, to let my innermost thoughts and emotions flow freely. The storm inside me is no longer something I can weather alone. It's time to let the winds of my truth blow, no matter how unpredictable they may be. We all carry secrets and unspoken words, but there comes a moment when you can no longer hold them inside. That moment has arrived, and I'm ready to let my heart speak. The time for silence has passed. It's time to lay bare my heart, to reveal all the emotions and thoughts I've kept hidden for far too long. I've spent so much time avoiding my own truth, but now I realize that it's only by facing it and speaking it aloud that I can truly begin to heal. There's a certain freedom in vulnerability, in speaking the words you've been too afraid to say. And now it's time for me to experience that freedom, to finally let my heart speak. Sometimes the hardest part of healing is speaking what's inside. But silence no longer serves me, so it's time to let my emotions spill freely, no matter the cost. I've been carrying around pieces of my soul, scattered and fragmented, and it's only by sharing them that I can begin to make myself whole again. Every unspoken word is a weight on the heart. Today, I choose to release the burden and speak my truth, no matter how heavy it may seem. There comes a time when the quiet becomes deafening, when the weight of unsaid words becomes too much to bear. It's time for me to finally let it out, to set my emotions free. The fear of being misunderstood has kept me silent for too long, but I can no longer hold back. It's time to let my true thoughts and feelings be heard. All these years, I've kept my feelings hidden behind a wall of silence. But now, that wall is crumbling, and it's time to speak what's been locked inside for far too long. There's something deeply cathartic about releasing the truth, about allowing the emotions that have been bottled up inside to finally flow. It's time to let go and embrace that catharsis. I used to fear the judgment that might come with speaking my truth, but now I realize that the only judgment that matters is the one I place on myself for staying silent for so long. It's as if my heart is bursting at the seams, filled with thoughts and emotions that can no longer be contained. The only way to ease the pressure is to release it all, to speak my truth. The weight of my unspoken feelings has been too heavy for too long. It's time to lift that burden, to share what's been hidden in the depths of my heart. Sometimes the loudest thing you can do is say nothing. But today, the quiet inside me has become unbearable. It's time to speak up, to let my feelings be heard. Every word I've kept to myself has been like a prisoner inside my soul. But now I'm ready to set them free, to speak the thoughts and emotions that have been locked away for too long. I've spent so much time pretending to be someone I'm not. But now I'm ready to be real, to share the thoughts and feelings that make me who I truly am. It's funny how silence can sometimes speak louder than words. But now I've decided that the only thing louder than silence is my truth.